In just a few days, a multi-trillion-dollar economic time bomb is set to detonate. The fallout could hit your wallet, your job, and your 401k. And the clock is ticking. What I just said isn't hype. It's the reality facing the US economy right now. On July 9th, a 90-day pause on a sweeping set of taxes known as the Trump Tariffs is set to expire. If they go back into effect, it could trigger one of the largest tax hikes in modern American history. The Tax Foundation estimates it could cost the economy $3.1 trillion over the next decade. That's an extra $2,100 tax on the average household this year alone. This isn't just a political headline, it's a direct threat to your financial stability. And Wall Street is terrified. Analysts at Morgan Stanley, J.P. and Deutsche Bank are warning of massive market volatility, a hit to corporate profits, and a rising risk of a global recession. So how did we get to the brink of this economic cliff? And what does it actually mean for you? Over the next 10 minutes, we're going to break it all down. If you want to stay ahead of the financial news that directly impacts your money, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It helps the channel, and it ensures you don't miss critical updates like this one. To understand this crisis, you need to understand the policy. These aren't just tariffs on one country, like China. The administration imposed a baseline 10% tax on imports from nearly every country on Earth, with even higher rates for nations the US has a large trade deficit with. The idea was to force these countries into negotiating new trade deals more favorable to the US. But with the July 9th deadline just days away, most of those negotiations are deadlocked. This has created what economists call policy uncertainty. And it's poison for the economy. Businesses hate uncertainty. When they don't know what their costs will be next month, they stop investing and they stop hiring. A recent survey from the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta is shocking. It found that because of this uncertainty, American companies are already planning to cut investment by 16% and hiring by 13%. They're in a wait-and-see mode. The damage is already being done. And here's the crazy part. According to analysts at Deutsche Bank, a strong stock market might actually make things worse. They found a pattern where market rallies seem to encourage the administration to get tougher on trade, which then causes the market to fall. It's a vicious cycle of instability. And that leaves the Federal Reserve, America's central bank, in a terrible position. Tariffs cause prices to go up, that's inflation. The Fed's main tool to fight inflation is raising interest rates, which slows the economy. But the economy is already slowing because of the tariff threat. They're caught between a rock and a hard place. Okay, so the policy is a mess. But let's talk about the real-world cost. Where does this tariff tax actually land? The answer is, in your wallet. Companies that import goods have two choices: absorb the cost and watch their profits vanish, or pass the cost on to you. Nike says these tariffs will cost them an extra $1 billion. Volvo warned the price of its new electric SUV would have to jump by over 30% in the US. But the pain for consumers is nothing compared to the crisis facing America's small businesses. This is the part of the story most people miss, and it's the most important. Imagine you own a small clothing store. You order $100,000 worth of shirts from Vietnam. Before these tariffs, you'd pay your supplier, get the shirts, and sell them. Simple. But with a 10% tariff, you now have to write a $10,000 check to the US government the second those shirts land at the port. You have to pay that tax before you've sold a single shirt. Most small businesses don't have that kind of cash just lying around. And a bank won't give you a loan to pay a tax. So what happens? They start delaying payments to their own suppliers to save cash. And the data shows this is happening on a massive scale. In the first quarter of this year, the number of rejected invoices between businesses surged by an unbelievable 273%. This is the first domino. When payments stop, trust breaks down. The supply chain fractures. And businesses start to fail. The Tax Foundation projects these tariffs will eliminate over 300,000 American jobs. This is how a 10% tax can trigger a recession. It's not just about prices. It's a cash flow crisis that starves Main Street America. This is a complex and frankly scary situation. Let me know in the comments, are you a small business owner worried about this? Or are you already seeing prices go up? I read every single comment and want to hear your experience. So, what happens next? With the July 9th deadline looming, top analysts at Morgan Stanley have laid out 3 possible scenarios. Scenario 1, the deal. In the best-case scenario, last-minute negotiations succeed. The US reaches deals with major partners like the EU and Japan, and the harshest tariffs are avoided. The 10% baseline tax likely remains, but the immediate crisis is averted. The market would likely rally on the relief. Scenario 2, the stalemate. This is the muddle-through scenario. No major deals are reached, but the deadline is extended, or the tariffs are phased in slowly. This keeps the toxic uncertainty hanging over the economy. Growth remains sluggish, businesses remain hesitant, and the market stays volatile. Scenario 3, the cliff edge. This is the worst-case scenario. The deadline passes with no deals. The Trump tariffs are fully reimposed. Trading partners retaliate with their own tariffs on American goods. This would almost certainly shock the US economy, disrupt global trade, and dramatically increase the odds of a severe market downturn and recession. Right now, it's impossible to know which path we're headed down. The situation is changing by the hour. The Trump tariffs represent a massive gamble with the American and global economy. The stated goal is to protect domestic industries, but the evidence suggests the immediate impact is a hidden tax on consumers and a potentially fatal blow to small businesses. The next few days will be critical. Whatever happens, we'll be here to break it down and explain what it means for your money. Thanks for watching. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like and make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next report. Stay safe out there.